one of my nephews developed schizophrenia, and sadly, he took his own life at the age of 23.
Welcome to Creating Wellness Moments, the podcast where we dive into the depths of the human psyche, self-discovery, and personal growth. I'm Calvin Wong, your host and fellow explorer on this journey towards mental well-being. Join me as we uncover inspiring stories, expert insights, and practical tips to cultivate a healthier and happier life. Get ready to embark on a transformative experience, one episode at a time. Let's create wellness moments together. Hello, and welcome to another episode of Creating Wellness Moments. In today's episode, we have the honor of having Dr. Radiah Salim, the president of ClubHEAL, on the show. ClubHEAL was started by a group of like-minded individuals with a strong passion for helping people with mental illnesses, along with their family members, to lead a fulfilling and stigma-free life. So they provide psychoeducation and supportive counseling to individuals and their families at their mental wellness centers. They also conduct some outreach programs for people who face mental health challenges, and they also serve the general public. So thank you so much for coming on the show today.
Thank you, Kelvin, for the kind introduction. I'm glad that you contacted me because I do want to be part of the movement to educate the public about mental health issues, and hopefully we can also move further in our efforts to remove the stigma surrounding mental health challenges.
Yeah, absolutely. I see that you guys have been around for a while and you've done a lot already. Maybe perhaps you could share with the audience a little bit about yourself and how it got started.
Oh, okay. I'm actually a GP. With me, I do have a lot of family and relatives with mental health challenges. So it has affected me personally. In fact, one of my nephews developed schizophrenia, and sadly, he took his own life at the age of 23. Anyway, back in I think 2007, I thought maybe I shouldn't be a GP, maybe I should be a psychiatrist. So I got a job at the Institute of Mental Health, and as a resident medical officer, and it really opened my eyes to the problems that people with mental illness face, as well as their caregivers. Hospitals and doctors are not enough. We need support from the community. We need psychosocial support, because it's not just about taking medications and then you're okay. It's more than that. But instead of becoming a psychiatrist, I ended up going back to becoming a GP because I love my job as a GP. But I always thought that I wanted to be part of the mental health scene. So in 2012, I gathered a group of friends to form ClubHEAL. So what happened is we wanted to help them in their recovery journey towards community reintegration, not just to be stable, but to really be able to reintegrate back into the community. And but it's not just helping individuals with mental health conditions. We also wanted to empower caregivers and educate the public about mental health conditions. So ours is three-tiered. Maybe I can go a bit about what happened in 2012. So in 2012, after forming ClubHEAL, we held our first volunteer orientation tea in March, in which we invited the local media. And, for this orientation tea, at the end of the session, two members of the public who came spontaneously shared their experiences during the Q&A. One was a caregiver, Ms. Zaitun Karim, and the second was by a person with depression and psychosis, Ms. Sumaya Muhammad. And I was very inspired by the selfless sharing in public like that, which I felt was even more impactful than the talks given by us, so the the healthcare professionals. So Club Hill's approach is we need to continue to educate the public through the sharing of stories by people with lived experience of mental illness, as well as by caregivers. And we do this through our publications and our volunteer training, also known as the Healing Friends training. So we started our Healing Friends training, or HFT, in October 2013. And it's got not only modules delivered by healthcare professionals such as doctors and counselors, but we always include the sharing of stories by peers or persons in recovery. We also started a quarterly newsletter called Heal back in 2013. And later in 2014, we published our first book, Shattered We Heal. And in that book, I too shared how my journey as a caregiver was the motivation behind the founding of Club Heal. So, yeah, so that's what we did. But I must say that in the sharing of stories, the sharer may wish to remain anonymous or use a pseudonym, or in the case of TV or radio, have their faces hidden, or their voices disguised. And it's very important to respect this. But many of these sharers eventually are comfortable to share their real names and reveal their faces. Yeah, and in Club Heal, what we do, sharing usually starts in the support group settings for both peers and caregivers. So we have both caregiver support groups as well as peer support groups. And so for the peers, we have this under a program that is funded by NCSS called Our Healing Voices, which is headed by Sumaya. Remember I told you about Sumaya back in 2012? She, stood up and willingly shared. So she now is in charge of Our Healing Voices. So in our Healing Voice program, the peers learn about self-care, positive thinking, recovery language, advocacy, as well as peer mentoring. And many of our peers have also become ambassadors for the national movement, the Beyond the Label movement. So we encourage our peers and caregivers to continue to share through many platforms such as our publications, public talks, HFT, media, and social media. So as more and more people share, the community of support continues to grow for both the peers and their caregivers. So we really need to remove the mystery about mental illness, so that people are used to the fact that, hey, it's real, it affects a lot of people, it affects many families, and really there's nothing to be ashamed about. Yeah.
Yeah, of course. Thank you for sharing that. It's beautiful to hear that you empowered Sumaya to open up and share her story, and now she becomes an advocate. So she is actually able to help more individuals just like her, and and it just starts with the small step that you made with you and a group of friends, and from 2012 to now, I'm sure you guys made it quite a big difference. And maybe I just could share a little bit of how, from your experience now going on for a while, what's the best way to create that safe space to allow people to be open and seek help? And
Okay, to create that safe space, we need an atmosphere of mutual respect, that's non-judgmental and open. So for those who are comfortable to share, they're encouraged to do so. So at Club Hill, usually the staff start sharing because a third of our staff, one third of our staff are actually peers, and most of them are actually trained peer support specialists, just like Sumaya. So our staff share their stories too. So gradually, our clients, the peers, they realize that having a mental health condition is really nothing to be ashamed of. And in fact, by sharing, they come closer to acceptance of their illness. So acceptance is in fact key in their recovery journey. So we share by example, so we must walk the talk. So for me, I started by sharing my own experience as a caregiver, and then so in that way I hope even other caregivers are happy to share their journey, because when we talk about journeys, it's not just the journeys of people with the mental health conditions, but actually it's the journey of the caregivers as well. Yeah.
Yeah, of course. I would say it's a lot easier for someone else to open up when you're the one who starts first and start sharing about your own personal struggle and creating the safe space and to allow them to understand this is a place where there's no judgment and
Yes.
it's okay that you're having this issue. In life
Mm.
it's quite universal to have struggles,
Mm.
right? It's nothing new. uh,
Yes.
it's really important to understand everyone's challenges and life journeys.
Yeah.
And I would
Well,
say, yeah, go ahead.
the other thing I want to say is a lot of people out there, they still think that, oh, people with mental health conditions, they cannot recover. Just take your medicine and just remain stable, okay? But that's not true. That's not true. And a lot of people out there, they think people with mental health conditions, they are weak. you know. So labeling them as being weak is in fact very judgmental and very stigmatizing. Because the truth is, a lot of them are actually strong. They live with their illness, and yet, they're able to function. They have a lot of noises going on in their head, but they're able to function. So most people in recovery, most peers can and do recover. But the main barrier to their recovery is the stigma that stops them from seeking help and their hope of recovery. And stigma results in others treating them uh, negatively. So that's social stigma. When people look down on you and say, hey, you can't work, you can't do it, you just take your medicine and remain well, okay? Don't forget to take your medicine. If that's all people say to them, then they start to believe it, and they themselves see themselves in a negative light. So that's self stigma. But from the point of view of a doctor, I'm a doctor, so to me, just like having a physical illness such as diabetes or asthma or cancer is not a sign of weakness, so too is having a mental health condition such as bipolar disorder, schizophrenia, or obsessive compulsive disorder, or dementia. Many people out there, they don't understand mental illness, so it's very important for us to educate the public, and this can be done not only by healthcare professionals such as doctors and psychologists and all, but also by people with lived experience of mental conditions to their sharing of their recovery journey. I mean, it takes a lot of courage to share, and by sharing, others can see their strength in wanting to overcome the challenges brought by their mental health conditions. So, for those who are doing well, for peers like Sumaya, you know, when a lot of people are amazed that she actually has been diagnosed once as having schizophrenia, and yet say, no, but you're normal. But that's right, she is normal. She just happens to have a mental health condition. Yeah. So it is very important once and for all for people to know that having an illness does not mean we are weak. We are not weak. They're not weak. They can recover. They can do well, just like people with diabetes or asthma or cancer can do well. Yeah.
Yeah, of course. I would say this is kind of where the key component comes in with Club Heal is having this community and seeing the peers that also have these struggles and uniting together is really where you're eliminating some of that self stigma that we tend to give ourselves when we're trying to battle our mental health conditions alone. Is
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Um,
I also feel like sometimes there's a bit of shame that comes along with having a mental uh, health issue due to the
Yes,
stigma, right?
yes.
And hey there, amazing listeners. Before we dive deeper in today's insightful conversation, I want to take a quick moment to give a shout out to the driving force behind this podcast, my very own mental health focused creative production agency, Calvin Wong Media. As you know, creating wellness moments is all about exploring the depths of the human psyche and fostering personal growth. And guess what? It would not be possible if it were not for Calvin Wong Media. We conceptualize, humanize, and bring your story to life using unique storytelling techniques that engages the audience. So, the next time you're inspired by an episode or find yourself engaged in a thought-provoking conversation here, remember, that's the result of the support of Calvin Wong Media and its lovely kinds. If you're looking to amplify your message, tell your story with authenticity, and connect with your audience on a deeper level, reach out to us at calvinwongmedia.com. Now back to the conversation on creating wellness moments. What are some things that at Club Heal you guys do to allow people to have this shame-free environment so they're openly able to talk about their struggles?
Oh, I see. I think I mentioned that it is an atmosphere of mutual respect and non-judgmental and being open. The other thing is about struggles itself. Sometimes, some people, they say, oh, we got this because maybe I did something wrong. Maybe I'm a bad person. That's why I'm afflicted with this condition. But actually, we want to remove that sort of self blame. Or sometimes caregivers, they blame themselves. They say, oh, I was too harsh on my kid, in the growing up years. That's why he developed this mental health condition. So the point about any challenges, to me, to us at Club here, mental health condition in a way is a challenge. When we talk about challenges, there are many all sorts of challenges that people can face. The stress, losses, trauma, physical illness, all these are challenges. But it is through challenges that we can choose to learn from the challenges and grow stronger. You see, either we choose to learn from our challenges and grow stronger, or we can give up hope and fall into despair. So at Club Heal, in fact, many peers refer themselves as being mentally blessed rather than mentally ill, because they see the blessing behind their illness. Through their illness, they learn to become well again. And having the experience of illness, they can empathize with others facing similar challenges. And they learn to cope with life's challenges through patience and gratitude. Patience in facing hardship, and gratitude when things turn out well. So in this way, our peers become resilient yet humble, and they become better version of themselves. So that's why in life we will face challenges, but through challenges we become stronger, not weaker. You know, and it's not to say that, oh, I'm proud I have a mental illness. It's not that. It's just that, okay, this is the challenge that I face, but so how can I learn from this? How can I grow from this? And we see, one by one, our clients, the peers, they grow. And the same thing the caregivers, instead of falling into despair, they learn from the sharings of other caregivers. And then sometimes a challenge such as mental illness can in fact bring a family together rather than split the family, because then everybody say, hey, okay, we've got this challenge, what do we do? Then they seek help. They go to a place like Club Heal where it's non-judgmental, where we're very supportive, and then they see, hey, people get better. And you know what? Sometimes at Club Heal, people they discover talents. They didn't know they have a talent. They come to Club Hill, they join. you know I know one peer, his name is Ahmad, in fact. He was unwell for many years, and then he joined our program and he started doing pottery. He's so talented. He came out with the most beautiful pieces of pottery for Club Hill. So what we do, we take his creations and we sell them at our pushcart, and he starts to earn, and his family is amazed that, oh, he's got this hidden talent that was discovered through being at Club Hill. There are many stories. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure there's many stories, and it's wonderful. It's always wonderful to hear such stories where when you start accepting and tackling the challenges you have,
Yeah.
you actually find some hidden talents to go with it because you
Yeah.
start accepting who you are and as a person, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Are you able
Maybe.
to maybe tell me some of the programs that you guys
Mm,
offer at Club Heal? I'd be
okay.
interested here.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So we have counseling, we have outreach programs. So our programs are geared for people with mental conditions, their caregivers, and educating members of the public. So, so we've got the counselors doing through our Commit program, which is funded by MOH. And then we have our activity programs like the recovery wellness program at our centers. So in fact, many start their journey through sessions with our counselors, and then some do well, they get discharged, but some go on to join our day activity program, for example, the recovery wellness program, where they learn more knowledge and skills. So there are some who don't plan to find work or go on to do further study, so they stay on at our recovery wellness program. Some become our volunteers. We also have the back to work program to get some of our clients to be job ready. And last but not least, I think I mentioned this before, we have our Healing Voice program, where our clients and alumni are encouraged to continue to support each other from sharing and mentoring activities. So underlying all our programs is the recovery approach, okay, which is strengths based, client centered, and client guided. So we look at people's strengths, we don't look at weakness, and it's centered on each client. What? Because every person is unique and is guided by they themselves. They must want to recover, and so we work together. The clients. It's not the our staff telling them what to do, but it's really walking side by side with them in their recovery journeys. Yeah. So the important thing is growth. Oh, by the way, apart from people with mental illness, we do have programs for people with dementia as well as their caregivers. So for dementia, in fact, we have the dementia wellness program. Yeah. For the caregivers, we have a caregiver program under the CREST team. So they help the caregivers of people with dementia as well as the caregivers of people with mental illness. Yeah. Um,
So that's a outreach program for the one with dementia.
Yeah, yeah. So we have outreach program for both. In fact, for both people with dementia as well as mental illness. So what we do, is done through our publications. We get invited for talks, and sharings by other organizations. Thank you for inviting me today. Our services are free. So you just pay a one-time fee of $10 and that's it. So because people say, oh, I can't afford to go for counseling. Well, there you go. You have Club Heal. You can come for counseling at Club Heal. You can come and join our programs. Only one-time payment of $10. That's it. You know. But really, we want people to come forward and benefit from what we have to offer. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
So,
it's it's so wonderful to hear that there's such a service that exists. I frequently hear that cost is quite a deterrent for people to go seek mental health help, and the service you're offering and the guidance, the support, and even the community, I think, is a very big one that not many people talk about.
Yes,
That is so pivotal for people to change it and be able to empower themselves, right?
yes, yes. Um, okay, so anything else you want to ask me
Yeah, I
about?
would really
Uh,
like, yeah, I mean, I
yeah.
would love to. One last question I would love to know is
Uh,
maybe just how you see the future of mental health in terms of advocacy, and how Club Heal is doing more to shape this conversation and further your mission.
Okay, I'm very, very hopeful because more and more stakeholders are coming out to support this, including the government bodies, community organizations, social and popular media. It's talked about a lot these days. And in no small part, actually, because, Club Hill's chief patron is actually Madam Halima Yaakob. From the very beginning, she's been a big advocate, and even as president, she was always advocating for mental health. So NCSS, in fact, is consulting us because of our active recruitment of people in recovery as staff, the peers as staff. Like I said, at least a third of our staff have got a mental health condition. So we walk the talk, and they want to know how we support our peer staff. So we want to promote the idea that peers can and do recover, but by themselves is difficult. They need the support of their family, the friends, and the community at large. So we need to remove all the negative voices that impede their recovery journeys. We want people to seek help early so that they do not develop severe illness. Okay, and definitely we also want to promote the prevention of mental conditions through the promotion of a kinder society here in Singapore. And all this we do by collaborating with relevant stakeholders. When people are kinder towards themselves and towards each other, there's less stress, less trauma. And with that, less people get triggered and perhaps less people will develop a mental health condition. But even if they do develop a health condition, they're surrounded by loving kindness, from the people around them who are supportive, who want to support them in their recovery journey. So it makes their journey less lonely and they feel supported. And so I want to say to all peers out there, you will recover. Believe in yourself. Don't let any negative voices bring you down. Don't blame yourself for developing a mental health condition. Take away the blame, take away the shame, and move forward. You know, so that's why there's a team of Club Heal. There's always hope of recovery, but that alone is not enough. You need to become empowered. You need to understand what is this that you have. You need to have understanding of your own condition, and by sharing your condition, you come closer to acceptance, of your illness, and because acceptance is key to recovery. But and the last letter of the acronym HEAL is love. So surround yourself with people who can support you, who believe in you, and stay away from all the negative voices. And self-care is very important. So love yourself, love others, and if your family don't understand, encourage them to seek help from Club Heal. We are here to support the families as well.
Those are some very wise words you just put out at the end here. Yeah, thank you so much for all the work you've been doing and will be doing. And I really appreciate just your time just coming to share with everyone the work that you do and the insights. So thank you so much for that. And let's just create more wellness moments together.
Yes, yes. Thank you so much, Calvin. You're doing very important work here. Because otherwise people don't know much, and you're creating a very important space for people to understand better. Thank you.
Thank you so much.